And I'll just tell you straight up, the money was not great in any of the TV offers. I had a straight show, straight offer for CNBC again, got to live in Jersey, New York. I'm like, I mean, for some people, they think that might be a good salary, but I was doing that every week, what they'd offered me. I said, you gotta be kidding. I'm going to live here for that. I can do that in a weekend. So
Were you ever, did you ever want to be on the Shark Tank? Because I know that you would
yeah.
probably have been a perfect candidate. And that was one
Well,
thing I was confused about.
yeah, I actually did a very brief appearance. Prior to that, Barbara Corcoran and I, Phil Town and Dave Bach had a show on CNBC
Okay.
that actually got replaced by Shark Tank. So we were the Millionaires Inside. That was a show we did. And then Barbara went on to Shark Tank, Kevin Harrington. Kevin and I have done books. We have companies together with his son, Brian, is very involved in his business now. I've taken stuff off of Shark Tank, but no, I don't want to live in LA and I don't want to live in New York. So, and I wasn't going to fly in the kind of recording they were doing. I love the mountains. I love Lake Tahoe. I think it's like heaven on earth and I'm not moving. So I just was not going to do it. And I had also just come off a pretty long stint, 3-year stint with Dr. Phil.
Okay.
And I just learned the TV space, right? And I love the way Dr. Phil records because he lived in Texas. So we'd fly to Hollywood. We'd film 2-3 shows in a day, do several days in a row and go home, right? So it was a different pattern. And I'll just tell you straight up, the money was not great in any of the TV offers. I had a straight show, straight offer for CNBC again, got to live in Jersey, New York. I'm like, I mean, for some people, they think that might be a good salary, but I was doing that every week, what they'd offered me. I said, you gotta be kidding. I'm going to live here for that. I can do that in a weekend. So not really interested. So, and I am really, I mean, TV is entertainment. I mean, what drives me crazy about our space, Tony, is, like the amount of HGTV superstars, like the Flip guys, the Boston Flip, the whatever Flip, the, Flip and Flop, all, some of them are real guys who actually do know how to do real estate. So I'm not going to take a big swing at all of them. Like I know some of them, that are really good, but for the most part, and HGTV got sued for it last year, is they're one of their rehab shows, actually several of them were being done in studios in Hollywood. There was no real estate, there was no real rehab, none of the shit was real. And they got busted for it. And what's sad is that celebrities versus educators get more status in our world. And it's like, you could follow a celebrity, but will you ever have this? Will you ever have this? Will you ever go to the streets with them, roll up your sleeves and actually do a deal? And that's the sad part, is I think people are confused, rightly so, right? Because they got big TV and media behind them to promote, their whatever program, but it's not real. It's taught by a bunch of people, in call floors in Utah. I mean, I can dissect this industry and people would be shocked what they're paying for.
I had no idea about that, Laurel, that you were basically on the predecessor to the Shark Tank, and you named Barbara and Kevin was there too, and David Bach.
Dave Bach, Phil Town, who I just love.
Town.
He's got a great trading program. He does stock trading, and Barbara Corcoran. So us four were there first. So wow. I went from Dr. Phil there and then out for a while. It's true. And even Dr. Phil said it. He's like, if you care so much about the people and how, to really teach them, he said, this is entertainment. You got to give entertainment value. Yeah. And that's when I really got it, where he and I were just talking. And that was just like, brilliant mentoring from Dr. Phil on what this really is. And, it was so interesting because then, sometimes you get the lesson and sometimes you have to really get the lesson. So here in my big table, other students would show up. And I remember one woman just a few weeks after that, where I kind of was second guessing my decision, going, gosh, should I just done it? It's great publicity, blah, blah, blah. And then this woman showed up and she's like, had to leave the day earlier. We were still teaching. I said, where are you going? She said, I got on the wife swap show. I said, but you're not married. She said, oh, I know. I'm going to meet my husband and all the cast when we get there. I said, exactly. I said, I've made the right decision. All that shit's fake. Survivor. I mean, come on.
Laura, we
We're
need to
left
do
on
a
an
segment
island.
for like
But
an hour just on this topic, because this
oh,
is
I know, we
actually
could.
fascinating.
And I love TV. I mean, I think it's interesting. I think it's entertaining, but keep it where it is. If you want to get educated, I guess that's the message. You want to get educated, you better get to the streets with the real people who are living out here, doing real work and doing real deals, not
Thank you,
just
Laura.
what you see on entertainment.